help the economy the way it is.
Yeah.
What's a ballpark figure to put a concert on?
Well, I try to stay out of the money side as much as possible. All I know is I'm healthily losing money all the time, but just enough to scrape by. I think that any money I do get, I invest back in it anyway. For instance, last year I did a thing in Britain called the Prince Charming Review, which was a 3-hour sort of pantomime, which was all hand-painted sets, three costume changes, 6 set changes. I did 32 shows. It cost me £250,000 to put the thing on, and I knew before I stepped on stage it would cost me personally £100,000 to do it, with every ticket sold, every t-shirt sold, everything sold. So, you know, you've really got to put your money where your mouth is.
People have that thought that once you become a star or reach a certain status that you're just raking the money in. They don't realize that there's a lot of gains and a lot of losses in this business.
Yeah, well, I don't really think that they're interested, and I don't really think they should be interested in it. You know, I don't think kids are particularly interested in whether I've got sort of bronchitis or a bad knee, or whether I've had an argument with my girlfriend. I don't think they're particularly interested in that. They want to be entertained. They pay money, they want their show. As far as I'm concerned, you know, that's what it's all about. You know.
If we can go back a little bit, how did the Prince Charming review and theme come about?
Well, it stemmed from having worked with the pirate and the highwayman look for like 2 years, and I did a world tour with that. Well, in fact, I did 2 world tours with that, incorporating 2 visits to the States. And then after that, I decided to do something especially around the Christmas area in Britain. And I'd been spending quite a lot of time in Europe, especially France. And in my visits there, I was researching the French Revolution, which I'd studied at college. And there's a period in the French Revolution where fashion just went straight out the window, went really strange, and it was called Le Merveilleux. They just took fashions and jackets out to here, very much which is being mirrored in the United Kingdom in the fashion sense at the moment. And I hit upon the idea of a very dandy look, a very sort of noble Prince Charming character, and did it. It was very English. It would have been impossible to bring to the States, although I'd love to have brought it to the States.
Yeah, that's what I understand. You never performed it in the States.
No, I only performed it on one tour, and I'd never do it again because it nearly killed me. It took me 4 months to recover from that.
You've performed it for Princess Margaret, am I right?
Yeah, I've performed in front of Princess Margaret, the Queen, and Prince Charles as well.
What was the reaction of the Prince Charming?
Well, the strange thing was with the Queen, who, you know, you expect the ladies to be, well, she is great. I mean, I actually like the royal family because I know that's unhip, that's very establishment, but I think that rock and roll is the establishment, and I think that it was an honour to be asked. And when I met the Queen, I wore a tuxedo because I took the makeup off, took it all off, and I thought, right, you know, this is the Queen, you know, this is my respect. So I wore a tuxedo, no makeup on. I stood there like this, and she came a bit close, and she came like that, and then she put her hand out and she said, "Oh, hello, Adam, I didn't recognise you without your makeup on." And that was, I thought, oh well, you know, it got right the way through. So
after the review, you said you'd gone as far as you could, or that you wanted to go, and you get back to basic again. Why?
Because I think that there's really the history of rock and roll is a really scary one if you're successful. I mean, it's bad enough being a failure, but if you're successful, it's wonderful on one hand, but then if you look into the history of it, there's more tragedy than good luck stories. Very few people come out unscathed or alive, and I'm not in love with that kind of myth. So to avoid being stuck with one makeup or one identity, which you can't get out of, I think there comes a point where you have to quit it before it really peaks, in as much as I knew with the Prince Charming review I could have brought that to America and made a vast sum of money touring with it, but I thought, no, it's not right. It's a year of my life. I think that's enough. The energy had come and gone, stopped, and just moved back. And going solo was really the result of the fact that the group I had at the time, the Ants, were not willing to put everything into their work, so I split them.
When did you make that decision?
I made that during the Charming review, where I felt Success can sometimes take a very negative, can manifest itself in a negative way because there's no need to fight. You've got to be hungry. What I've done at the moment is just throw it all off, and I felt that there were certain things to prove. I'd rather rely on my body or rely on moving, dancing, looking good and writing good songs with Marco than being the darling of the pop world.